Hello, anchors away, everybody. We are talking about navigating websites with anchors. You know, there are so many water illustrations when it comes to the internet, right? I mean, sometimes we're surfing the internet, or I don't know, my mind's kind of blank, but if you can come up with other water analogies, go ahead and put those in the comments. We've seen a lot of different illustrations, and one of those is anchors. We're going to talk about using anchors. And what is that exactly? That is a tool that we use to navigate through websites. The old way was just doing pages, but as web design started to become more unified and started to be more of a one-page design with very long scrolling, we had to start using page anchors. So if you want to know how to use page anchors, or you just want to hang out and talk about web design, that'll be great. We're going to get started right here. Let me know what you think about this training. Give me some emotions, some hearts, some happy faces, some likes. Let me know in the comments what you think about page anchors. I'm also curious, how many of you out there know about page anchors or have used them before? I like to kind of get a good idea of the audience and your experience with this sort of tool. So I'm going to actually click on so I could see the chat here. We got Nicole is with us. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. If you guys are watching the replay, go ahead and give me some emotion, give me some comments. It all counts, and I will try to get to those comments as soon as possible. Let's start talking about page anchors on today's Tuesday training. Let's get started. Joining us today. If you guys are watching the replay, go ahead and give me some emotion, give me some comments. It all counts, and I will try to get to those comments as soon as possible. Let's start talking about page anchors on today's Tuesday training. All right, this template we're using with Wix.com is actually the comedy template. I don't know if you'll think it's funny, but maybe some of you are comedians out there. Maybe you and your best friend just laugh so much. Have you ever sat around and thought, hey, we should do comedy together? Well, this template's for you. I also thought it was appropriate to use this template because during the Super Bowl commercial, Wix.com featured two very famous comedians in their commercial. If you know which comedians I'm talking about, let me know in the chat box. I want to see if you guys remember the Wix commercial during the Super Bowl. Let me know who those two comedians were. Yeah, I'll wait for that to kind of roll in here. So if you don't know me, if you're just joining me, my name is Michael Wood. I am the head web designer at Captivatum, multimedia and web design. And I'm also the head instructor for the Webmaster Academy, where I teach people from around the world how to create stunning and professional websites without writing code. I do use Wix.com, but you're welcome to use other platforms. It's fine. The design principles I'm talking about still apply. Okay, I'm just checking to see the comments, see if anybody recognizes the two comedians. I don't see anything yet. If you're watching the replay, let me know who those comedians are. Okay, let's get into our training today. So let me just show you the website first. So I'm going to do a preview, and I'm in the Wix.com editor. I'm going to scroll down, and you'll see it's got this parallax effects right here. See, the background is moving, but the shot kind of stays centered. And then they kind of get covered by the background. So it's a really nice parallax effect. This is a good one-page design. So this is where you would put About Us. Now, it's okay if you're not doing comedy. This website design could be for any product or service. You would just change the images, obviously. So don't think just because you're not a comedian you can't use this template or apply the design principles. They're pretty universal. I'm going to go down, and this is sort of a gallery of images. And they also have a section of videos. And this is hosted with Wix Video that allows you to do this tile or mosaic pattern. And the videos could be hosted on Vimeo, YouTube, or hosted with Wix.com themselves with a video plan. They also sell merchandise, so some of you want to sell merchandise for your show or just e-commerce. That is built into this website as well. And then at the end is sort of this follow us section here. And then we have the footer down at the bottom. If you have questions about what should go in the footer, what social media icons you should use, how to set up e-commerce, how to do videos, make sure you check us out at www.webmasteracademy.online, and I teach you how to do that. Today, we're just talking about page anchors. Now, up here at the navigation bar, take a look at this navigation bar. I have what you would normally understand as pages, but when I click on About, the problem is this is only one page. This is a one-page design. Now, you might ask, why is it a one-page design? One of the advantages of one page is it's going to be ready for mobile and ready for devices like iPads, because typically people will use a mobile phone or an iPad, and what do? They scroll, right? They use their finger and they just kind of scroll through. And so building your site as a long one-pager just makes sense across many devices. At the same time, if someone is on their desktop, they understand how to use menus at the top. So what we're going to do is, instead of creating pages, we're going to create something called anchors. So an anchor is a designated point on the website that we will refer to. And this is for navigation purposes. We can build it into the navigation bar up above, or we can actually create a button. And I'm going to go through both examples during this training. Down here, you see the call to action button. And we talked about this in our 101 class. A call to action is the main thing you want your customers to do. Now, we know that there are many things they could do. They could subscribe to a newsletter, they can buy merchandise, watch the videos, or maybe learn more about you. There's a lot of things they could do, but the one thing that Robert and Alan decided, the fictional Robert and Alan decided, is they want people to watch their videos. Because that's a good plan, because if they watch the video, people will laugh, they'll see they're funny, and then their business, their service, their entertainment service will sell itself, because you're going to think they're so funny. So if you could just watch their video, they will be in business. So their call to action is to watch us. Now when I click on this button, nothing happens. That's intentional, because we're going to use a page anchor to make this button do what we want. Let's go back to the editor. Now I'm using the Wix editor, but page anchors exist in almost all the platforms. I know Adobe Muse absolutely does use page anchors. It's a common navigation tool. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on the Add button. And it's funny because Wix tends to move the anchors once in a while. I tend to find them in the More section. And in the More, you see this section that says Anchors. So what happened, I clicked on Anchors, and it happened really fast. But you could see this light blue line that wasn't there before. And I'm going to move this little these tools out of the way here. Do you see, here's the blue anchor. Now, when I click on the little grip here, my cursor changes into this cross, and I can move this up and down. Okay, it doesn't go side to side. It's only on the y-axis. So I'm going up and down here, and I could basically decide where I want this anchor to be. Now, I'm going to go ahead and press delete on my keyboard, and that will delete the anchor. Let's go ahead and add it again so you can see. There is also something called anchor menus, which we will talk about a little bit later. So I take this anchor, you can click and drag. See the light blue horizontal bar that's here? You can click and drag or just click, and here is our anchor. Now, our first anchor we want to do is the about. So we're going to take this anchor and slide it down. This is the about page. Now, you don't want your anchor right here in the middle, because what will happen is the anchor will actually be the top of the page. So what you want is you want your anchor to go at the top of the section, right there. And in fact, watch as I move this anchor up, it kind of snaps into place where that magenta line is. That shows you that this is in between sections. So let's go ahead and snap that in right there. And we can rename the anchor. I highly suggest you rename it. This is the About Us anchor. Okay, what's the anchor's name? About Us. Easy enough, right? So then what happens is let's go ahead and click on our menu navigation. And we're going to manage the menu. Now you notice this About page already has an anchor logo, but let's just pretend that was gone. Let's pretend that wasn't there. We want to navigate to the About Us anchor. See this down here? So let's go into our menu navigation. Let's click on Manage Menu. And we're going to add a page. We can add a link or add a folder. We're going to add a link. This link, as you can see, we can go to a website, an email, a phone number, a document, the top of the page or bottom of the page, or a lightbox. Let's go ahead and do an anchor. Now what happens is you might have many anchors on your site, so you'll have to decide which page the anchor is on. Since this is a one-page design, the anchor is on the same page. So it says this. That means that's the page we are on right now. Now, where on the page? So as we add anchors, you're going to see this list populate. So we only have one anchor, so that's pretty simple. I click on it, you see it's highlighted blue, and I say done. Simple as that. I'm going to close this menu. Let's go ahead and scroll back up. Let's do a preview of the site. And when I hover my mouse over this thing that says new link, it goes to the About Us section. So all it did is it scrolled. It didn't go to a new page. It just scrolled the website down. Another good thing about anchors is if you have a one-page website and people don't know they're supposed to scroll, that happens once in a while. They might think this is the whole page. And sure, 10, 15 years ago, this is how websites looked. They weren't very vertical. So if they don't know, by clicking the About Us and you actually see the website scrolling, it helps new users understand that your website is built vertically on the y-axis. Now it says new link. Obviously, we need to change that. Let's go back to the editor. I'm going to manage the menu and see over here where it says new link. Click on the three dots, and all we need to do is rename that to About Us. Pay attention to capitalization. If all of your menu items are all in caps, then keep it that way. That's one of the mistakes I see. Some are all lowercase and some are, half capital, half not. If we're going to go with all caps, then stay consistent. So I'll say done. I could then move this link wherever I want on the menu navigation bar. I usually try to order things important in the order of importance. But in this case, since we're using it to navigate a one-page design, I'll probably put the links in order of the layout. So About Us is the first section, so I'll put that as one of the first sections, with home being the center or the front piece as normal. So there it is, About Us. And so all I need to do is just continue to add anchors. This section is the gallery. So what I will do is click on Add, click on Anchor, and drag it to the page. Let's make sure the anchor is right where it should be. The blue lines turns magenta. That means we're right on a in-between spot of those pages. Let's go ahead and do a rename. And this is the gallery. And we'll put that in all caps. And now we need to go to our menu navigation, manage menu, and the gallery button's already there for us. Or we would just create a new link. Now, let's go. Now, in this case, gallery was there. When I deleted the anchor the first time when I was getting ready for this class, the gallery anchor was gone. So when I clicked on it, it went right back to the top of the page. So all I need to do is relink this. Just change the link. That's all you need to do. And we'll go home, this. But instead of about us, this is going to the gallery. Say done. And now about us goes here. Gallery goes a little further down. So that's how you build anchors. And then you would go ahead and just keep doing that until all of your navigation is complete. I'm just checking the chat to see if there's any questions. Does everyone understand at this point how to add an anchor to your page and then how to link that to the navigation bar? Give me a happy face, give me a like, show me that you understand the lesson. It also tells me that, that my microphone's working and everyone can hear me. So go ahead and give me a like or a happy face if this makes sense to you. All right, even if you're watching the replay, go ahead and give me some emotion, then I know that this is making sense. All right, looks like no questions at this time. So let's go ahead and keep going. Now let's go ahead and make this button. So this button works the same way as the menu navigation. We're going to change the link and we're going to go to a anchor, and I want it to go to the video section. Well, I don't have an anchor there. So let's scroll down. Here's the video section. And I'm going to go ahead and add. Go to more. Click and drag the anchor onto the page. Make sure it's magenta or it's centered right between sections. Let's rename this anchor to videos. And then let's go to, we need to go back to our button at the very top. Click on the Watch Us button. Click on the link, and we're going to now select the new anchor. So click on Anchor. Click the down arrow, and then click on Videos, and then say Done. Let's do a preview of that. When I click on Watch Us, it goes ahead and it scrolls down to the video section. So that's how you make anchors with button, and now you know how to do anchors with the navigation menu. Let's talk about an anchor menu. So what is an anchor menu? That is an additional navigational piece you can put on your site. This is really good if you have maybe not a one-page site, maybe you have multiple pages, but one of your pages is very long. Perhaps there are a lot of products. Perhaps you have lots of different video or photo galleries, and you want people to be able to navigate quickly down a very long page. So what's interesting about that type of design is people who just want to browse and explore can check out all of your photos or all of your products. But putting in an anchor menu will allow them to skip down if they already know what they're looking for. So to do that, let's go back to the editor. And I'm going to click on Add. Let's go to More. And now I'm going to choose an anchor. So at this point, it's all about style. And you can select which style you want. Some have titles, and some is just a dot with a circle on it, if you want to keep things really minimal. Sometimes the text can get in the way of the beautiful images, and you just want them to be able to just kind of click on the dot and scroll down, you could do that too. Let's go ahead and use one of these anchor menus. And what we have to do, we have to attach it somewhere. So let's go ahead and put it on this column right here. Okay, it's warning us that if I put the anchor menu outside of these sort of these dotted lines, then it will not be seen on an iPad. So it's just trying to remind us about that. Okay, and that's fine because if they're on an iPad, they don't really need an anchor menu necessarily. Here it is, it's right here. You notice there's kind of this margin off to the side. And so as you notice, when I clicked and dragged the menu, the About Us, Gallery, and Videos, those are the 3 anchors that we created. They're already listed. Now you notice that the blue anchor is invisible to our audience. So I wasn't really worried about spelling or capitalization. But now that I put a anchor menu on the site, now they can see the titles of those anchors. So I need to pay attention to that. I'll need to go back to the About Us, say rename, and I just want to be consistent and make sure that everything is capital. Because now we're showing those titles with this menu. Now you notice on the side you don't really see the white dots. So I might need to just change the design. Just click on the design button and I could easily just change the look of these buttons. Now I like the titles. I like them to be white. I just want to change the circles. So all I need to do is look at the fill color, and I just need to change some of these colors a little bit. You can make the fonts bigger if you want them to be able to see that. So look at that, that's a nice and big so you can see the menu. We can change the button text to something, you know, we can go to white or whatever color is going to work for you there. Now if I go with kind of a light color, maybe even the yellow, kind of matches this fellow's shirt there. Okay, let's do a preview. We're at the top of the website, and when I click and hover, you notice the color changes, so I can change that in design. But if I just click on gallery, that goes down there. Now, what did you notice when I scroll down? I hope that you noticed that the anchor menu stays with us. So even though I'm scrolling, that anchor menu is locked into place. That way the navigation is always right there where we want it. Now if you want to unlock that, you can unpin this element. But in this case, I really, I like it there. I think it should stay there. And so that is how you build a anchor menu. Now, let's look and see what this looks like on mobile. So when you switch to the mobile editor, I want you to notice some things might have shifted. First of all, this About Us, I clicked on the wrong thing. Here it is. This About Us anchor, we need to just shift it over to the About Us section right there. So you might have to move a few things around. Now you could click on Page Layout Optimizer, click on Optimize Now. Sometimes that'll fix things for you. Or sometimes it'll make things worse. So, you could just Control Z or undo that if you want. And you can go ahead and move those anchors around. Now, let's go ahead and take a preview of the mobile site. Now you notice you have these 3 dots right here. So that's one of the mobile features here. That's the menu. And the About Us will do the same thing. It'll go ahead and jump to that section. So the anchors work just fine on mobile. But you notice I don't see the anchor menu on the mobile site. And that's okay. If I click on this hidden element, I don't even see it here either. I think it was the column 2 that was hiding. Probably because it didn't make much sense to be there. But what I wanted to show you is that the anchor menu is not on the mobile site, because it just doesn't really make sense to have a menu always in the way. So I just wanted to point that out. All right, so that is how you add anchors to your site. I showed you how to add an anchor, how to connect that to your navigation menu. Then you learned how to connect it to a call to action button, and then finally how to create an anchor menu. I hope you enjoyed this time. Let me just see if there's any questions. This is time. This is sort of our question and answer stage at this time. And go ahead, let me know if you have any questions about this training. All right, so far so good. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and share this video. You might know some other people who can benefit from this training. And guess what? You'll be the hero for sharing it with them. So if you know another web designer or somebody who's learning web design, share with them this video and let's spread the word and let's all become awesome web designers. I will take you there. This is Michael Wood at Captivatum Web Design and Multimedia. Remember to like and subscribe to the page and check us out at www.webmasteracademy.online. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me. And let's all become awesome web designers. I will take you there. This is Michael Wood at Captivatum Web Design and Multimedia. Remember to like and subscribe to the page. Check us out at www.webmasteracademy.online. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining.